Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So here we go. Topic today is values. Values meaning answering the question, and I'd love if you do it right in the comment section. What is most important to you? If we were to just ask that question, what is most important to you? And if we were to think about this concept, I'd love to know, number one, what's the most important thing to you in your life? What is up from Brazil? Nice to see you. J. Lark says peace is most important. Now, as other people are typing in what's most important to them, if you had peace of mind, let's say, as most important to you in life, do you think your life would be different than I see family is most important to someone else in life here, to Jill? Do you think they're going to make different decisions? Do you think they're going to choose to participate in life differently? You know, someone else says God is most important in life. Beautiful. Do you think they're going to make different decisions? Someone says having real fulfillment, love, and connection. Will they make a different decision? Of course they will. If family is most important, you're going to make a very different decision than if having a home is most important, than if your wife is most important, than if God is most important, than if love is most important. You're going to choose totally different things. What tends to really, really piss us off as human beings is when we interact with another human being who has a different set of values than us. And we look at them and go, what in the world are they thinking? Why would they do that? Oh my gosh, what's wrong with them? And all they're doing is acting on a set of values of the things that are most important to them in their life. And what's happening is we are judging them through the filter of what's most important to us in our life. That's one of the number one things that causes friction between humans. Someone is behaving according to their values, and we're judging them according to our values. Now, what's fascinating about that, I mean, it'd be really easy if all we had to do is deal with other people who were just like us. Now, back in the day, that's how it used to go. Way back in the day, when we lived in villages and tribes and clans and groups and all these societies that we lived in back in the day, if you lived in this village, you lived by these principles, by these values, by these behaviors. Because if you didn't live by these behaviors, you're done. They would kick you out of the tribe. They would chop off your head. They would get rid of you because you're not upholding the village rules, behaviors, values, and standards. Now, what's interesting, been some interesting twists of history, but we're now at a point in history where we can stand in a free society and each person standing side by side chooses to live by a different set of values. Meaning person A right here says family is most important. Person B right next to him says God is most important. Person C right next to him says love is most important. You know, the next person says, no, it's my dog that's most important. The next person says, my goodness, you're crazy. It's my child that's most important. The next one says, no, it's my business. And the next one says, no, it's my money. And they're all right. That's what kind of messes with the whole system. The interesting part here is, like I said, it'd be really easy if all we had to do was hang out and deal with people who had the exact same values as us. But that's not the game. We got to hang out with people that have radically and totally different values than us, who see the world in a completely different way than we do, and look at the stuff we do and go, my goodness, what's wrong with them? Why would they do that? But somehow still interact civilly, caringly, lovingly, kindly in some way. And this is a lot of what's going on. Now, the part that gets to me the most, that I find the most interesting, just imagine for a moment that you sit down in 2020, this year, and you write down your most important values, which I know all of you have, haven't you? Side topic. Have you taken time to write down the most important values in your life for this year? Not what they were 10 years ago, not what they've been in the past, but what's most important to you right now, at this stage of your life, at this moment of your life. Now, what I found, mine changed. My wife and I just did this the other day. We sat down and I wrote down, what are my top 10 most important values? I wrote those down and I looked at them and I said, wow, those have changed over the years. They weren't always like that. I said, that's really interesting. I said, well, what about you? And I asked my wife, Amanda, I said, what are your most important values? Now I can read them to you because I think it's kind of interesting. Let me open a little page here. Let me find it. So, where is it? Here we go. So I just brainstormed, not in order, I just brainstormed. Here's what mine were: love, health, family, calm and peace, joy and happiness, business, profit, growth, owner versus operator, adventure and travel, spirituality and God, and financial abundance. Those were just the top 10 things that came to mind. And I just threw them all down. Not in order, just threw them down on paper. And I asked my wife, I said, what are your top 10 values? She said, love, health, mindfulness and spirituality, business systems and teams, learning and growing, family, community and connection, contribution, exploration, adventure, travel, fun, play, and laughter, and beautiful and cozy environments. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. Now, if you listened closely, some of our values were the same. Health, love, family, connection, all these things. But if you also listen closely, some of our values were not the same. We had different values, which makes sense because we're human. But when we put them in order, we said, what's most important? What's more important, love or health? What's more important, family or health? What's more important, business growth or family? What's more important? And we put them in order. All of a sudden, we noticed we had very similar top 3 values. All of our top 3 were the same. A little different order, but the same. Personal. Now, here's what's interesting. I've noticed, I've been studying relationships now for 5 years before I met my wife. We've been together for 6, together for 6, married for 5 now. So that's 11 years I've been studying, applying, practicing, testing, and really, really diving deep in relationships. And in the process of doing that, I've noticed most couples, well, let's just start broad. Most people have never stopped, sat down and asked, what is most important to me in life? Have written it down, put it in order, and then lived their life accordingly. Most people have not done that. If you've done that, high five yourself, because you're one of the rare humans who've actually done some of the work. Now, what I've noticed is, there's some high fives, good job, Vivian. But what I've also noticed is even the people who've done the work on themselves have rarely sat down and asked their partner, what are your top values? Shared with them what are my top values, and then came up with the third list. What are our top values as a couple? Meaning, when we are separate, we have our own values. When we choose to be together, when we choose to be right next to each other, when we choose to do this thing called life together, what are our top values? The values that we choose to put above all else when we are together. If these are out of alignment, you're going to have a lot of headaches with each other. Why? Because when you have a free hour of time, what are you supposed to do with it? Well, if your number one value is health, You might want to go do something to improve your health. If your number one value is travel, you might want to go somewhere and travel during that hour of time. If your number one value is growth, you might want to learn and grow. You're going to choose to do something different depending on the value you uphold. I hope that makes sense. Now, what happens is if you choose to align them together, meaning these are our values when we're together, we each have our own, but when we're together, this is what we choose to have as our guiding system to what's most important on how we invest our time, our money, our thoughts, our effort, our energy, and everything else in our life. All of a sudden, you guys are really connected. It smooths things out. It makes tough decisions not that tough because you're in alignment. You just say, hey, if love is most important, what would love do to handle this? If health is most important, are we handling the situation according to really taking care of our health? Depending on what you choose, it becomes very clear and obvious which decision you need to make. Now, without alignment, what tends to happen is someone goes, well, what's most important to me is health, so we should go work out and eat healthy. And the other person goes, no. Reading and learning and growing is most important. Forget going outside and working out. We should go into the library and read. And then the person goes, it's always your way. So fine, let's just do what you want. And then they go do it. And then the other person goes, oh, fine. We did it last time. Let's just go do what you want. And now they're just going back and forth and having fights and arguments and irritations with each other all the time. Instead of sitting down and going, wow, if we get this in alignment, it's really easy. And so my wife and I put these in alignment. Here's what to do with them. This is kind of fun. Once you have it in alignment, now map out your goals for the year. Say, hey, if this is what's most important to us, what top goals are we going to aim for this year to help us stay in alignment with what's most important to us? What are the goals? What are the results we'd like to achieve in these categories since they're most important to us? How? What kind of path do we want to walk to achieve these goals? If those are most important to us, what's the journey we want to take to get there to stay in alignment with our values? Will you take a different path if your number one value is adventure or growth compared to peace, calm, and peace, calm, and love? Of course you take a different path. One person's climbing the side of the mountain, rappelling off the other side. The other person is walking a peaceful, calm, smooth path to the journey. Now, both get you to the same destination. It's just a radically different journey on how to get there. And so the alignment of these values allows you to be consistent and congruent in how you choose to walk the journey together. So, I hope this is useful. I hope you take this. I hope, number one, you sit down and write down the answer to the question of what is most important to me in life. I hope you then choose to put them in order. I hope you then choose to, if you have a spouse, a significant other, this also works in business. We sat down and we said, what's most important to us in business? Our number one value in Performance Coach University, which is one of our online training programs for people who want to become a coach, number one value is we care about people. I have team members reach out and go, how would you respond to this email? Or what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do with this text? Or what do you think I should say to this person? And I'm like, well, start with this. If you deeply, deeply cared about them as a human being, what would you do? And they go, well, I would want to make sure that they're really taken care of. I want to really make sure that they feel heard and seen and appreciated. I said, great, do that and see what happens. The values guide the behaviors. And if you have the values in alignment, the behavior becomes pretty obvious. So hopefully this is useful. Apply it in your life, apply it in your relationship, apply it in your business. Watch what magic unfolds. Have some fun with this. Tag someone who needs to listen to this. If they don't see the live version, you can go to jrctv.com on our YouTube channel. It'll be uploaded over there in the next day or so. All these videos go over there, so you're welcome to tune in and watch them over there as well. Also, a great place to share them with other people who might need to check it out. jrctv.com. Have some fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow.